Hello, Shalom Achem, Buenos Dias, Assalamu Alaikum, Guten Tag, Sashrikal, Buongiorno, Namaste. My name's Sohale Rahman, and I'm London's independent candidate in the European parliamentary election. When you think about the European Parliament, maybe you think about bureaucracy, silly laws, and corruption. You might be thinking there's no point in voting. But let me change that idea right now. Recently, we've heard in the media various stories about our politicians. Let's face it, none of us are really surprised to find that our politicians are quite selfish, quite greedy, and they don't really care about our needs. Well, on the 4th of June, we get to flex our muscles. We get to voice our concerns. We get to decide who we hire and who we fire. Do they really think that their hollow apologies are sufficient for us? Do they really believe that returning stolen property somehow balances the scales? I think the answer must be a resounding no. No, they do not represent us. No, all is not forgiven. No, we will not forget. And no, Mr. Politician, you cannot have your job back. Now, we all know London is the cosmopolitan cultural centre of the entire world. And as such, we have a real duty and a real part to play in these elections. If we play our part, we can lead Europe to a fairer, cohesive and anti-racist society. But if we don't play our part, there's a very real danger that Europe, along with a number of racist political parties, will turn back the clock and undo decades of our hard work. And I don't think we want that. So on the 4th of June, we get to flex our muscles and have our say heard. We get to decide who we hire and who we fire. So let me tell you about my pledge. I pledge not to sell your vote for a political donation. I believe I'm the only candidate that refuses to accept any political donation whatsoever. I pledge to conduct my representation through consultation. Let's face it, when was the last time any of us were consulted by an MEP? When was the last time an MEP asked us our opinion before representing our interests in the European Parliament? I can't remember one. I pledge to ensure that Londoners are properly informed and educated about the provisions of the European Parliament. How else can we get the best out of it if we don't know what it's about? I pledge to ensure that I deliver the sort of information that can help us differentiate between our various MEPs. The sort of information we need to ensure that we select the best candidates. The sort of information that we need to ensure that we ourselves can stand as candidates in the European parliamentary election. I pledge to give a minimum of €15,000 of my annual MEP salary to fund London projects that promote community cohesion, anti-racism and education. But more than anything else, what I will make as a cornerstone of my work is to ensure that Londoners become leaders in Europe. We have a comparative advantage here in London, and we have a duty to the rest of our nation to take that first step to make Britain great again. Don't fall for those tricks and the silly points that certain political parties make. These elections are not about whether you want Britain in the European Union or withdrawn from the European Union. Save that vote for the general election. An MEP cannot take Britain out of the European Union. These elections are about selecting the best possible candidate to represent our interests in the European Union. We need to get the best out of it because it's a fact. We're in Europe. So remember, on the 4th of June, we get to decide who we hire and who we fire.